It's like we have a crystal ball. We've been talking for a long time that Robert Downey Jr. will probably return in Secret Wars, and earlier today, multiple reports dropped that seem to confirm that theory. Not only that, it might be more than just a single appearance. Let's dive into the recent Robert Downey Jr. reports, talk about Iron Man's return, and where he might fit into Secret Wars. Well, this has been rumbling for a really long time, and now it seems we have a firm update on Iron Man potentially returning to the MCU. But before we dive into the story, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We're working really hard to bring you all the news, reviews, and scoops on this channel, and make sure we present them in a way that's truthful and clear to you so you know what's really going on. Now, earlier today, we started getting a little bit of news about the potential return of Iron Man in the MCU. This has been something we have talked about for forever, but I want to be really clear before we dive into this story. This is, as of today, part of the rumor mill and scoop train, meaning it's not from Marvel and it's not from Kevin Feige or Robert Downey Jr., so we want to be really careful here. On this channel, we like to be transparent and make sure we're super clear about what's official and what's not. And this, as of right now, falls into the non-official category. Now, there have been a ton of rumblings about Robert Downey Jr. returning as Iron Man in Secret Wars. This is something we've talked about multiple times on this channel, and now a new story earlier today seems to indicate not only will he return for that movie, but he might also be part of another MCU project. Now, this report comes via My Time to Shine H, and he is claiming that not only is this potentially happening, but the deal is done. Now, as many of you remember, back in 2019, Tony Stark made the ultimate sacrifice to defeat Thanos. But with the recent multiverse expanding the way that it is, having Robert Downey Jr. return as Iron Man, even in variant form, is something that seems very much in the realm of possibilities. I suppose the main question will be, is he a good guy or a bad guy, and how he fits into the future of the MCU. The last version of Secret Wars saw a battle world created and then ultimately a somewhat reformed 616. This might be exactly how they bring Iron Man back to life in the Marvel Universe, but that, like I said, has not been confirmed. Now, that same report seems to indicate he will appear in something else besides Secret Wars, and this makes a lot of sense. Apparently, he's slated to appear in Armor Wars. Many people were wondering if he could make an appearance in Ironheart, but quite honestly, the MCU's Riri Williams has no ties to Iron Man. We got a pretty good background on her in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, so this really doesn't fit very well into her story. However, if Tony's legacy is going to be addressed in Armor Wars, then it seems like a cameo is a must. This could be anything from a pre-recorded message to a flashback sequence. Either one of them might work just fine for Tony, but we'll have to wait and see. Honestly, the return of Tony Stark needs to be handled very carefully. His sacrifice at the end of the Infinity Saga worked super well, and if you undermine that story and what the Russos brought us there, I think that would be a massive mistake. I also want to point to the scoop status of this. It's not been confirmed by Marvel or Kevin Feige or Robert Downey Jr., and quite honestly, the scoop game is make or break, and if this one turns out to be wrong, to me it pretty much crushes most credibility this particular scooper has going forward. Now, Tony Stark wasn't the only thing he had to talk about though. Now, beyond Tony Stark, the same scooper is claiming that the Incredible Hulk star Liv Tyler will also return to the MCU as Betty Ross. We haven't seen hide nor hair of her since 2008, but we do know her father, Thunderbolt Ross, who is now played by Harrison Ford, is going to become the US president, so having her make some on-screen reappearance at this point makes a ton of sense. Now, whether she shows up in New World Order or Thunderbolts, we're going to have to wait and see. Quite honestly, I think the key of her return will really be tied to the Incredible Hulk and Bruce Banner. Now, the chemistry that Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner and her have on screen, we'll have to wait and see. I have to say, one of the things that really worked in the 2008 movie was the chemistry between her and Ed Norton. It felt super real. Quite honestly, that diner scene makes me verklempt to this day, and it makes me pretty excited to see her return to the role. I just hope all the details work. It should be pointed out we had a whole series of rumors that indicated she would be part of She-Hulk, and those turned out to be false. So take this one with a grain of salt. I want to see her return, I'm just not so sure of the validity. Now, obviously we're covering this one pretty closely. I want to be super clear about the scoop status of it. It's not official, but the possibilities of Tony Stark returning to the MCU are massive. Robert Downey Jr. basically is the foundation of all of the current Marvel Universe, so bringing him back should generate a lot of fan excitement and buzz, But again, Marvel has to be really careful. Now, I do still believe Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson will return as Captain America and Black Widow, especially if they've secured RDJ. How Marvel puts all of these pieces on the board during Secret Wars, and more importantly, what it looks like after, we're going to have to wait and see. I think the future of the Marvel Universe is really bright, and including Tony Stark in Secret Wars, along with Evans and Johansson, might be exactly how Marvel beats that Endgame box office once Secret Wars comes to theaters. Now, obviously, we're covering everything MCU on this channel, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll bring you all the secret multiverse updates. But until we know more, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the possibilities of Tony Stark returning to the MCU? And if he does, do you think the box office for Secret Wars could surpass Endgame? Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.